Hey guys! Well, story time. It's the first one, actually, first time I'm doing a story time. I'm about to tell you about how I lost my finger. Well, disclaimer, there are gonna be some pictures. If you're scared of blood, definitely don't watch this. I'm gonna put some stuff, I'm gonna talk about stuff. So if you can't stand the view of blood or anything, yeah, go watch another video. This is not for you. All right, now that we're done with the disclaimer, let me tell you about that. This is pretty recent. It happened to me actually last week. I'm still recovering, but hey, here's the story. I was shooting a music video in my basement, the basement of my building. So we're not like fully quarantined, but I only see the same people. I don't go out and I respect every social distancing. However, Arlene and I were shooting a music video in my basement. So yeah, Arlene's a friend of mine. At some point, I decide maybe why don't we check out the back alley? Maybe we can find some nice shots over there. So we decide to change location. And as we are moving forward, so we have this huge metal door in my building's basement and it's really heavy. And somehow I just don't know how. I can't explain it. I try to rewind this in my head, but nothing can explain this, honestly. Anyway, my finger gets stuck inside of the door, like in not like where you close it, but like in the little corner and hinge. I mean, you know what I mean. And I saw it before I felt it. You know, I saw my finger being stuck and I was like, oh, no. And the worst thing of it all is that the door locks automatically. It just automatically locks. So I saw my finger stuck and the door completely closed. How? And it locked. So I tried to look for the keys, and when I bent to look for the key, I heard my bones go. Oh, that was awful. And so I opened the door and I was so much in pain that I didn't even bother to look at my hand. I just like crawled on the floor and I was bending of pain and screaming. And I heard Arlene saying, I'm calling 911. And somehow, because I couldn't even imagine what was going on down there, somehow I stuck my hand in doors before and I never had anything like wrong happen to me, and I never even broke a bone. So in my head I was sure that everything was fine, and I look at Arlene and I'm like, no. And she looks at me and she goes, take off your gloves. I was like, okay. And I look at my gloves and I see like all my hands were normal, but this finger was straight until it wasn't. And so the tip of my finger was completely torn and completely in a different direction than where it's supposed to be. And I was like, no. And I tried to like put it back, and at this point she was still like insisting, like, I'm gonna call 911. And I was like, wait, like for sure, like guys, I was so much in denial. I was still like, wait. And so I finally take off the gloves, look at my finger, and that's when it all happened. I started screaming, I'm losing my finger. Yeah, I was screaming, I'm losing my finger, but like for real. And so I was like, call 911. So she called 911, and as she was on the phone with 911, I was still screaming in the back, call 911, I'm losing my finger. And she was talking like a rational person, giving the address and explaining the situation. And sometimes, like, just in case they didn't like understood the emergency of the situation enough, I was screaming in her phone like, So yeah, somewhere 911 has recordings of me like being insane, but I guess the pain drove me insane. But I was not too insane. I was still sane enough to realize that I was wearing heels. I was like dressed for a music video, losing my finger. We had all the material and cameras and stuff with us. So I looked at her, I was like, okay, the ambulance. No, I wasn't that quiet. Actually, I was screaming. I was like, let's take the stuff off. I'm losing my finger. Yeah, still screaming in between every rational phrase. I'm losing my finger. But we grab everything and we go up to my apartment, and my boyfriend was inside, and he heard me scream, but he didn't know it was me, and he was like, oh, I think there's some idiot trying to like do weird stuff in the building. And the voice gets closer, and then I open the door and I prank him all the time. Like, I really prank him a lot, I guess. He thought it was a prank when I came in and said, I'm losing my finger, until he actually saw my finger. And when he saw my finger, oh my god, I guess I didn't pay attention too much, but it's been a week and he's still having a hard time sleeping. He still thinks about what he saw, poor thing. Moving on, I actually try to grab ice, take off my heels, drop all the stuff on the floor, and I could feel that I was about to faint. Like, I was starting to feel really dizzy, so I rushed down because I was like, I really want to keep my finger, and I know that time is crucial in those kind of matters, so I was rushing so they wouldn't have to carry me to the ambulance. And I arrived downstairs, and that's when I realized I was screaming really loud, because half of my building, most of my neighbors were like outside waiting for me by the door, and they were like, are you okay, are you okay? And that's the moment I think I fainted. I was like, I couldn't hold it anymore. It was gross on the floor. Ugh, but hey, I guess you don't choose where you faint. But we waited for the ambulance. My friend took my hands like up my head, and it was okay. When the ambulance guy arrived, his name was Mike. Mike, if you're watching, oh my god. Mike saw my finger and he went, oh fudge. I mean, you know, not fudge. He went, oh, you know what. But that was so candid. Like, but I guess, yes, that was crazy. Oh yeah, guess what, guys? I started having my period also before losing my fingers, so I was bleeding from both ways in the ambulance. And somehow the girl just lost her fingers, but at this point my cramps were really strong. So yeah, my life was awesome at this very moment. We get to the hospital, a bunch of meeting, x-ray, but all of this happened really fast. And I was like, I don't want morphine, I don't want anything, I'm good, I don't want to develop any addiction, I'm scared, blah 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 blah. So they ran all the stuff, and then a surgeon comes in and he's like, okay, we deliberated and we're gonna operate surgery on you right now. We're gonna remove your nail. Oh yeah, because my nail and my bone were still connected to my little sausage at the tip of my finger. He goes, okay, we're gonna remove your nail, put some little like metal bars, like thin picks inside of your finger to stabilize it, and then we're gonna stitch it back, and then we're gonna put your nail back. I swear, guys, I looked at the nurses and I was like, you said morphine? Bring it on. Bring it on. Yeah. I was ready. There's no way you're gonna do this to me as I'm conscious and fully aware of the pain. No. So they did little club sandwich with my finger. Oh yeah, I saw the stuff. I watched it. Oh wow. And they put these little sort of metal toothpick inside of my finger to just put it back together and stitched it back, and then they disinfected my nail and they put it back. Ew. Guys, I don't ever want to live this again. But that's what happened. I then had a bone surgery literally 48 hours later, and now I'm in pain. I've been in pain for about 4 days. I haven't seen my fingers since the first surgery, and I don't know, I'm just looking forward to recover and be able to play. Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this, I'm a musician. I just graduated from Berkeley, and I hope I'll be able to recover fully. If you guys want to keep up with my life story and how well I'm gonna do after all that, you can follow me on my socials, on my Instagram where I'm speaking in English, or on my Facebook where I speak in French, or just listen to my music. You can do that. That'll make me really happy. I'm sure I'll recover faster. Anyway, thank you for listening to my story. I hope you'll be very careful whenever you're around heavy doors. And if you're curious to know how it feels like to lose a finger and recover it, now you know better. I remain aware that some people have way worse injuries in this world, and I feel very lucky and grateful that I had it stitched back already. So I'm being positive. Well, I hope you're doing great. You can put a thumbs up and subscribe and check out my music video or not. Anyway, I hope you stay safe.